Skip it up and that up. So Anita Sarkeesian made Time Magazine's 100 most influential people's list. I have the link below. I shit you not. The Time Magazine list was published today, and Anita Sarkeesian is featured on it as a pioneer for her video series Tropes vs. Women in Video Games. This is what Will Wheaton, the Star Trek actor, had to say about her in his essay for Time. In the face of hysterical and childish abuse, Anita has refused to back down. She continues to speak around the world about the role of women in video games and popular media. A lesser person may throw up her hands and unplug her game console, but Anita is determined to ensure that video games are inclusive and representative of everyone who plays them. As her detractors grow increasingly unhinged, we have proof that her efforts are working. This is what else the Time Magazine article has to say about Anita. I'm reading right from it so I don't paraphrase and misquote anything. Anita is just the latest woman writer to prove the law coined by journalist Helen Lewis, that sexist comments on any article about feminism justify feminism. In the face of hysterical and childish abuse, Anita has refused to back down. She continues to speak around the world about the role of women in video games and popular media. She also talks about her life as a target in the online culture war known as Gamergate, waged by entitled male gamers, which I'm going to prove that fucking wrong in a second, who fear change in an industry that is evolving while they seem determined to remain 15 forever. Hey, Time Magazine, are the following people I'm about to show you from Not Your Shield, do they seem like entitled male gamers who want to be 15 forever? You watch for a second and then you tell me.
I support Gamergate because I do not deserve to be labeled as a cis white male misogynist or terrorist because denizens of the internet uncovered the lack of integrity regarding few gaming journalists.
Hi, my name's Timothy. I'm an independent publisher and a bisexual male. I'm not your shield against corruption and censorship.
I am a queer feminist woman, and I am not the shield for false ally gaming journalists to hide their corruption behind.
Even though I'm gay, the game media wants me to think that all my gamer friends are homophobic, but gaming has always been an inclusionary pastime. I support #NotYourShield.
So Time Magazine, I got a question for you. Do any of the people that support Gamergate in that video clip I just showed look like entitled male gamers who fear change in an industry that is evolving while they seem determined to remain 15 forever? Nope, they don't. So you know what? Fuck you, Time. What I find funny, and I have to ask my buddy Will Wheaton and Time Magazine and all these other people that praise Anita Sarkeesian and condemn Gamergate, is why do you always go for the lowest common denominator with Gamergate? Which I don't even know if the people that you're talking about, the ones that do the terroristic threats and promise to murder people like Anita and cause harm to her, they may not even be part of Gamergate. You have no idea if they are or not. You're just saying, oh, Gamergate, it's men, children that are mentally unstable and they want to be 15 when they're 33, and they are. That's all that Gamergate is. It's a bunch of closed-minded males. Even though I just proved with physical video evidence that it's actually men, women, straight, gay, whatever, black. Everything. Gamergate comprises everything. It's just easier to say, oh, it's just grown-ass men who sit in their parents' basement who are angry that women want to be a part of the industry, which they aren't. I want women to be part of the industry, but it's all about that stupid fucking stereotype, because that stereotype brings people in, okay? It's not even about just Anita Sarkeesian agenda. It's not even, they may not even give a fuck about, they may not even give a shit about Anita Sarkeesian. You know what they care about is by putting that stereotype with Gamergate and talking about Anita, they knew people like me were going to talk about her. Unfortunately, even though I feel I have to do this video, me talking about Anita gives her more recognition. It gives Time Magazine ad revenue for their online magazine article about the top 100 people. They knew what they were doing. I promise you, they were a bunch of execs sitting around a table like, damn, everyone seems to freak out when the name Anita Sarkeesian's mentioned. We may not even really give a shit about her, but we should put her in our top 100 list because people will lose their minds and we will get internet traffic like crazy and cha-ching. And hey, look, I'm a sucker. I fell right into their trap, but I still think it needs to be discussed anyway. Gamergate is, I'm not even pro Gamergate, but you know what? I'm so tired of everyone saying Gamergate is just a small, typical, stereotypical demographic of just a bunch of dudes that hate gays, that hate blacks, that hate lesbians, that hate everything, when it's not. It's not. What Time Magazine and Will, why don't you talk about people like Mundane Matt, who are objective about this whole thing, who actually want to see women be treated equally, who are just against the extremism that feminism has in it? Why don't you talk about people like me who've actually condemned, even though it was unpopular, very unpopular, I condemn people for throwing threats Anita Sarkeesian's way. And when I found out that it was proven that she actually was threatened because FBI agents went to Mr. Repzion's house, I apologized to her. Why don't you talk about people who are objective and in the middle like me? You know why you won't talk about me? You know why you won't talk about Mundane Matt and Mr. Repzion and other people who aren't, basement dwelling women haters? Is because we don't bring in the ad revenue. When you use that stereotype, because that's what is a stereotype? A stereotype is what people consider a certain demographic to be. People still to this day consider gamers to all be virgins in their 20s and 30s and 40s who are closed-minded people. So when you use that stereotype, it brings in more traffic. It brings in a bigger audience to you. And on top of it too, Anita Sarkeesian's a hot topic, and that's why Time Magazine chose her. I promise you, like I said earlier in this video, you had a bunch of execs sitting around a table and said, this will stir up controversy. Let's put her on this list and watch the people come. So congratulations, Time, you were right. But to everyone out there who maybe is not sure of what Gamergate is, and like I said, I'm not part of Gamergate, don't just listen to these articles that are as deep as a puddle of piss. Like I just showed you, Gamergate is not just a bunch of white males who are man children. It's a lot of people, for a male, female, young, old, straight, gay, who just want honesty in the industry. They don't want any agendas pushed, feminism agendas, anti-female agendas, so on and so forth. They just want people to play games and for everyone to be equal. That's what Gamergate's really about. And for the people out there who actually are doing these threats and trying to cause mayhem, you're hurting the whole cause, man. And if you really do love the gaming industry and you think that these death threats and everything are worth it, if you're actually making them, you're doing the exact opposite. Please stop. I beg you, please stop, because all you're doing is adding more fuel to the fire for places like Time Magazine to gobble up and to make more ad revenue off of and to make Anita even more famous. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.